Some places bleed with emptiness, a hollowness so deep it sucks the sound from your breath and the warmth from your bones. Empty, like the world forgot it ever existed. And if you linger, if you let the silence press too close, something else notices, something that has always been waiting, just out of sight. Arthur thought he'd found paradise, miles outside civilization, a small cabin tucked into the rugged edges of Arizona's Superstition Mountains. Just desert wind and silence stretching farther than the eye could see. For months, that silence felt like freedom, until one night when the quiet twisted into something sharp and watching. Something scratched his porch. Arthur sat upright in bed and listened. Scratch, thin, deliberate, like claws testing the world's edge. His first thought, drowsy and hopeful, was almost comforting. Coyote, maybe a javelina. The desert had visitors, nothing unusual. He grabbed a flashlight and walked toward the front door. The scratching stopped. The desert seemed to hold its breath. He opened the door, clicked on the light. Nothing. No animal. No movement. No eyes reflecting back. Just an empty desert. Arthur stared, skin crawling, nerves burning, then turned to step back inside. When he heard it, footsteps, heavy, wet, sinking into the sand with the patience of something that stalked before, moving around the cabin, not four-legged, too deliberate and powerful, like someone circling him. His stomach dropped, cold sweat prickling his scalp, heart thundering so loud it seemed to echo through the cabin's thin walls. Arthur slammed the door shut and locked it. The footsteps stopped, and suddenly everything became silent, not the calm of peace, but the suffocating stillness before a scream. No wind, no insects, nothing. Then the scream came. Raw, impossible, vibrating through the glass and the marrow of his bones. Not human, not an animal, something between an elephant's trumpet and a person being torn apart. The sound exploded across the desert. Before Arthur could react, boom! The entire cabin shook, plaster crackling, glass humming, dust raining from the ceiling, as if the world itself recoiled. Something hit the wall, hard enough to vibrate the floorboards beneath his feet. Arthur ran to the living room window. Outside, under the weak yellow light of the porch, stood a silhouette, impossibly still, limbs too long, shadow swallowing the porch light. Tall, over 8 feet, standing upright. Its body looked covered in dark, matted fur. Its shoulders were broad. Its posture was wrong, bent at angles that made Arthur's mind rebel, like watching a body try to remember which way bones should bend. And then it turned. 2 amber eyes caught the light and stared directly through the glass. Arthur said later the growl didn't sound loud. It seeped through the walls, so low and sure it felt like it was already inside with him. That was the worst part. It sounded low, controlled, close enough that the window trembled. He knew instantly, if that thing wanted inside, that cabin wasn't stopping it. So he started barricading, couch against the front door, dining table against the back, boards over the windows, anything, everything. By the time he finished, his cabin looked less like a home and more like a siege. Arthur sat in darkness deeper than ink, every shadow a lurking shape, every creak a warning, rifle across his lap, waiting. Hours passed. Outside, the footsteps returned, slow circles, heavy weight overhead, claws dragging across wood. At one point, it stopped moving, right beside the wall, and Arthur heard breathing, slow, ragged, as if lungs too large for any living thing pressed against the wall, tasting his fear through the boards, as if whatever was outside already knew. It had all night. The sun finally came, light spilled across the desert, and the sounds disappeared. Arthur waited another hour before touching the boards. When he looked outside, the siding had been gouged, deep and pressed into the dirt. Footprints, not human. He packed immediately, loaded his truck, left the cabin behind, never returned, because Arthur walked away with one belief: the desert is old, and there are places where being alone doesn't mean you actually are.